you like
Oh my
that?
goodness.
Getting right after it. Hey, Mary.
Hi.
Hey, Mary.
Hi.
Sorry, that's me.
Hi, Tom.
How you doing? Caitlin?
How are you?
Good.
Did you see this on email?
No, it's all working.
Did you see the minutes on email? Anybody?
If they were there, I didn't look. Not because they weren't there. Sorry.
Pay attention.
Did you see them?
No,
Because they're posted. I don't, Ken didn't send them out after that?
no, probably not.
Yes.
But you've got plenty of copies here.
So I'll make sure that, so everybody wants an email copy once they get posted. Probably a good protocol, right?
Well, rather than wait until the last minute.
Belt and suspenders, as the lawyers like to say, right? Caitlin?
Emails are so nice because the delete key is right there.
Yeah. And I need it all the
Cover
time.
right inside.
You never even have to see it, it's like anything from the River Commission straight to the.
Sometimes it's very gratifying.
Mary Shernock. It's 6:01, if you're ready, I think we are, right?
Yeah, we're ready. Call the meeting in order. She let me run the meeting.
Oh, Charlie Morse running the meeting.
So, roll call will include Lincoln. You get everybody's name, right?
Charlie Morse, Tim Schwartz, Caitlin Keating, Kawa Duogi. I'm sorry, we haven't met.
I'm Pat Meehan.
Pat Meehan, oh, you are, okay, I've emailed with you a lot. Good to see you
Who are
in
you?
person. Tom Davis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. See, it's equal.
There you go.
Mary
It's
Shernock,
useful.
I'm doing this for the
It's not
note-taking
like
thing. Mary Naden Scott, is anybody else online?
Hi, Mary.
Dan Anderson said he was
Yes.
going to take part. I don't know if he's,
Hi, who else do we have?
This is Delane McElveen calling in.
Elaine, how are you?
Elaine.
Hi. Good. How are y'all?
Okay, there you go, there's your roll call, Charlie.
We're good? All right, so we're gonna skip public participation, approval of minutes, we have the minutes in front of us. Take a motion to approve,
I so move.
Second.
moved and seconded, any objections or abstentions to approve the minutes? Anything missing? No comments, approve the minutes, minutes have been approved. Old business. Updates on action items from previous meeting. Act 250 jurisdiction opinion from Natural Resources. Okay, so, an email was sent back in July. Long story short, I'm not sure, this is from, Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission. Long story short, I'm not sure whether the path would need an Act 250 permit. And the only way really to know for sure is to request a jurisdictional opinion from the Natural Resources Board. I think we asked for that well before July. The last select board meeting, without dissent, the select board directed the manager to obtain that permission. The permission that, it's a long process. It's a lengthy process because you have to go through a number of hoops that include any surveys, abutting property owners, and the hitch is that Northfield became a 10-acre town in the last couple of years, since Tom was here, right? Do you remember what year that was?
2023.
So, Act 250 was required for the senior center, the senior housing, and Dollar General, because we were a 1-acre town before we were a 10-acre town. Does anybody want an explanation of that? Okay, so we're now a 10-acre town, and the question is whether Act 250 will recognize we've changed our parameters and just say, we're out of the picture, or if they're gonna require a permit. And part of that process is lengthy, as I said, and it goes into the weeds as far as abutting property owners, surveys if they're available, and the restrictions on the permits that were issued. Hopefully,
The jurisdiction is, her request has been submitted, it's in.
really,
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Jeff this weekend and he had, so good.
Yes, finally.
We,
I spoke with Will Pitkin, the same person who gave us that opinion in Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission today. He said that, they have been waiving an unusually large number of requests for permits on projects like these. Unless
Town-related?
Town-related or others where no major construction is taking place on the parcel, even though it was originally, an Act 250 permit. That is no guarantee, but they're so loaded down between going through their preparation for their new tier A, 1B, et cetera. And in this 2-year exemption period that Act 250, where they have sort of taken the rules back. So for instance, the Citrangelo lot where Northfield Village Development originally could only do 10, then they could do 25, now they can do 50. They are going before the DRB to request 32 units.
35.
So they just had to,
The 25 unit
Would be
apartment
32.
building is, oh, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, that's the latest renderings I just got this morning. If they do need a permit, if we do, if the opinion is not to waive that, then yes, it does have to go through Act 250 because the original parcel was a 10-acre lot, so it doesn't have some sort of switch over for anybody who started on an Act 250 permit. So we have to just hope that the jurisdictional opinion is, this is just a path, and if you get a right of way, it's gonna be fine.
What, do we have a estimation for the time frame on that?
No, but I made sure Jeff gave me all the contact information, and I will start hounding them weekly.
I pity those guys, if you're out of them.
Well, it was funny, because he said to me today, he said, well, you might wanna call them and ask them, and I said, I've been at this job 2.5 years and no one has ever returned a phone call from Act 250, so I'll pass on that. But we do have other ways that we can get to them, so, we definitely have to use, Dollar General property, as Charlie has pointed out, because otherwise, to stay on town property all the way, we'd have to walk through the river.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's good news that it's been submitted, so, I was coming to this meeting without that news. All right, any other questions about Act 250 jurisdictional opinion? Just as a side note, as I've said before, strategically or for planning purposes, if Act 250 gives us permission to go ahead, then that potentially could open up a door for the Act 250's permits that are related to the senior complex over there, senior housing and the quarters. So hopefully, we'll find that out. If the jurisdiction is approved in our favor, then we can go with Phase D and hopefully do it in such a way that we have a successful project. For the town, that's important, because if we have a successful project in Phase D, the Dollar General, then likelihood the abutting property owners for Phase A and B will subscribe to the idea and let us come up with plans and all of that. All right, I think that's pretty much a broad brush for it.
well stated.
All right, progress of obtaining easement right away from Dollar General.
Okay, this one's mine only because, I got the easement, we got an amendment to the easement for Northfield Village Development on the other side from Dollar General. So we have all the contacts and the attorneys and everything. we're gonna need a drawing, in order to make the request, to get that easement.
The
So,
drawing that Pat did, is that sufficient?
they're gonna wanna know exactly where we wanna where that trail is gonna go, you know, how close to the building, and things like that, so, I'm sure they have a group of, obviously, a huge company has a group of attorneys who look very closely at this. But I will tell you that they hired a new head of community relations who's been there, and she is great to work with, picks up the phone, and we got that easement, amendment done really quickly. So, so they're pretty responsive. And again, it's just like the apartments, why wouldn't they want more people who are walking by their store, so.
Yes.
Right. So did they give any input on what they would accept as far as distance from their building?
No, I mean, I could call for a preliminary and see if they have some sort of set policy. I'd be happy to do that about, you know, what they traditionally see, that obviously they don't want it right up close, but there's plenty of room back there. Yeah.
There is.
The question
Yeah,
is
you probably
staying
want
with
it farther away for the
Yes.
sake of it being not right next to the Dollar
Yeah.
General
Yeah,
anyways.
absolutely.
You just
Yeah.
can't go off the cliff, so.
Yeah, exactly, right,
They use the 3 feet the town owns.
right. Yeah, it does widen out once you get over down near the
Yeah,
water,
yeah.
which is nice, but. So I will do that initial, work on that, but we'll need to get,
I can just do like instead of like a artistic thing, I can just do like a plan drawing
That'd
with dimensions on it and stuff, just black and white, so that they can look at it.
and put it on a parcel. the
Just
map.
on a print, yeah, with the parcels to scale and
That
stuff.
would be.
Assuming
amazing.
the GIS parcels are accurate and they don't have some other survey that I'm not
They're,
privy to.
they're accurate enough,
Okay,
there's no question.
Yeah, I'll just do that then.
Yeah.
And then if they can give us some direction about what they're okay with for setbacks.
That would be,
I can use that on one side and the
Yeah.
topography on the other side and just pick a line.
I can reach out to her tomorrow to ask her attorneys for that information.
great.
So by the,
So, Tom's gonna reach out to Dollar General for parameters.
yeah, for setback requirements and any other expectations, obviously the indemnification, hold harmless, all those good things, you know,
And then Pat would be able to, with those parameters, fine tune what he's already drawn and, give it to so it's,
Yeah, so that they can look at it, you know, and then if they want us to move it, it's not hard to just slide things over.
right.
so can you do with your SketchUp, can you do a top looking down?
Yeah, just like a house floor plan kind of thing.
Yeah.
Alright,
Like a
that's cool.
landscape, yeah, so it's
Great.
not so busy, and then they can actually, it'll be to scale, so they can actually measure stuff on it instead of just trying to figure out what's what.
Great.
Alright, excellent. So, any more discussion on, right away for Dollar General?
I just wanted to mention one thing to you, Pat. The Norwich Architecture Department has been very nice about making, large format prints.
Okay,
Like
cool,
2 foot by 3 foot
Okay.
prints. They seem very eager to,
nice.
and I know that.
Do you have a contact over there? that I can-
Absolutely, Holly
Okay.
Yakowicz.
a guy.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yes,
I know a guy.
he's not a guy, but yes. But she's the departmental secretary, which is a very powerful
That's really
position
good
in
person
any
to know,
department.
yeah, right.
And I hired her husband 25 years ago,
Oh, so she still owes you, huh?
well, she thinks so.
That's a long time, it's a long debt to pay off.
Right.
No, we're all good friends.
Anything else? Members of the audience? Okay, so review assurances.
Oh, Mary's got her hand up, sorry, Mary, go ahead, Mary Shernock.
Yeah, I had one question about, I thought that the village had different plats than the town, and that the village plats showed more land belonging to the municipality than the town plats do. Am I mistaken about thinking that way?
No, the village has got a pretty solid property boundary map. the accuracy of it is considerably different and better than what the town has.
Does it show that we have enough property without getting Dollar General's okey dokey?
We definitely don't.
Definitely do not.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed to know.
All three parcels right next to Route 12, Mary, the parcel goes right into the river, so you can't.
All right.
Can't
Okay,
get
thank
off of the
you.
property. Yep.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, review assurances required by Vermont State Housing Authority. Someone is gonna have to take the lead on that because, has anything changed?
I've got the list that I sent to you all, looking at it right here. I guess the real question that I would ask is, what is the protocol, or what's the stages that we wanna look at this? Because a lot of this stuff is gonna require an attorney to help us put them together. And, just talking with Jeff about it, the town attorney could do it, but it would come out, the funds for that would probably come out of the funds that were given for ARPA for this project. So he's not against, enlisting the town attorney, but just wanna make sure to clarify that, budgetarily. They would be the first ones really for a lot of this, because, it's releases of liabilities and the typical boilerplate stuff that they put out. I don't think it's a ton of hours to come up with these parts. They said once they get to that point, they have to get an approval through USDA, but they would do that once we did our part of the work. So we would partner on that. So they're open to continue to do those pieces, but just to remind everybody, this includes the fact that they're gonna want us to have a plan for maintaining the existing fence along with the new fence as we go forward. So if there's damage, we know how are we gonna address those things. And then something that this group has to decide is details on how the path will be lit or monitored to prevent unwanted activity. I talked to Chief about that. He's more than happy to install cameras along the way, which I think would be wise to do no matter what. Everybody will feel more comfortable with that. But the lighting issue is another question, is whether or not you want any out there or some sort of just a soft night lighting or something like that. So it's up again. So this is all your decision on what next steps you want to take.
There is a light at the bridge, is that right? Is my memory saying that correctly?
It seems to me that I think you're right.
It sounds logical.
Yeah.
Covering the approaches to the bridge, yeah.
Okay.
That
I
might
don't know.
change when they redo the bridge, though. I don't know how much they're.
And this is the pedestrian bridge. we're talking
Pedestrian
about.
bridge,
Oh,
sorry.
okay, yeah. Sorry,
Behind the
right,
senior.
Yeah,
There will be lighting on the Main Street Bridge.
yeah, right.
But in other words, by the pedestrian bridge, there is a source of electricity there.
Yes.
Mary Shernock has a comment.
Hi, thank you for calling on me. I have a question. Doesn't the municipality own enough property on the west side of the Dog River? And couldn't we put the path on the west side of the Dog River and not have to talk to all these people about their concerns about privacy and so forth?
That's gonna be under new business, Mary. That's,
Okay.
and that's
Okay.
coming up after the Cross Brothers Dam. Project.
Okie dokie, bye.
No, don't say bye. So, any more discussion on number 3, review assurances required by Vermont State Housing Authority?
I think you have to you have to decide as a group if you want to move forward with getting any of this document done, or do you want to wait to see if there's other obstacles that are gonna get in the way that would be not a wise use of the money? I mean, so it's really an order question, how you wanna attack it.
And are
Well-
we still talking about meeting with them in person?
Yeah, but they won't let us meet with them until they feel they've got all the legal stuff set, cause I just feel it'll be a waste of time.
Yep, fair enough.
I get the sense that as long as the insurances are there from the way they've sort of flip-flopped from, no, it's already dangerous to,
Yeah.
okay, if you do these things, why would we stop that? You know,
Yep.
so.
It would be my suggestion that, we have a successful project in Phase D by Dollar General. And including the Act 250 jurisdiction as something in our tool chest that we can approach Vermont State Housing saying, and then we just print it out. This is what we've done today. This is what it looks like today. We've got sign on from Dollar General. This is the project and it's complete and it's successful. This is what our idea is from this group.
And that might include some assurances of Dollar General that the town is going to maintain the path, things like that. Which
Right.
are directly relevant, I think, to what the housing people.
They're gonna have the
thinking
same
of.
questions and their
Right.
legal
But
is
some of
gonna
the same
have the
ones,
same
there's gonna be
questions.
some more specific ones about the lighting and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But to your point on that, if the documentation is good, it might be good enough for us to use, as you're saying, with
Yeah.
Vermont State Housing Authority, so we don't have to duplicate the effort.
This is what we did the first time, this is what it looks like, this is success. And, then we approach Vermont State Housing and Zone A and B, and this is what we can do, you want in.
Yep. Yep.
And I think that's the best approach, cause we don't know.
Right.
And one of the things that we don't know is coming up in item 4. So is there any more discussion on item 3?
I think the agreement is let's get the stuff moving with Dollar General and then come
Right.
back to it, so, yeah,
Right.
I don't think there is,
So update on Cross Brothers Dam project, it's gonna be next year.
yes.
And, I think they're gonna be responsible for the stream alteration permits and things. We are responsible for getting the easement from Dollar General, et cetera. One thing that popped in my head over the last time we met was that the dam, if you're familiar with it, removal is going to eliminate a, throttle in the river that is potentially gonna cause erosion where we're talking about. So that, I think we need to see the final plans on that. But, the flow that comes down that river on a major event is huge.
Yeah.
It actually deposits soil. And I think probably it's going to, with that removal, it's going to remove soil, which means we may have to, hold back some amount of distance. 50 feet is the number that the state uses for people like me that log and farm next to the river. So, we may want to, be aware, Pat, that, we could have some soil loss there,
Yeah.
which could be it may mean that we have to put up a fence. So, or, I don't think we'd end up putting sheathing in there. Does everybody know what sheathing is?
Sheet piles
Right.
that interlock.
They're driven in,
Right.
they're interlocked, they're expensive, and, that eliminates access to the river, cause it's gonna be a wall.
Right.
Which is just something, but the project is going to go forth, next year.
Are they going to have someone, like, I don't know the correct term, hydrological engineer that would understand better than I do?
That's being done.
Good.
That
Great.
SLR company, that's what they are. It's like
Good.
hydrological, like environmental engineers.
Good,
So they had 3 people there that were all engineers that are looking at.
Yeah, they were there in September.
their estimate of what the
Right.
river will look like
Yeah.
after.
Yes,
is
they're
reliable.
they're like shooting their own
Okay.
elevations and they're drilling core samples and they're checking bedrock
Wonderful.
depths and they're estimating, when we take this out, how much bedrock are we gonna leave? What's the channel gonna change to? This is what, so like,
and they know the flow rates and things like Charlie was
Yes.
talking about.
yes.
Wonderful, that's what I wanted, was
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
that knows.
the people that
way
are
more than us.
designing the removal are hydrological engineers. Or
Okay.
they have a hydrological engineer in charge of it, so
Right,
they will have a better guess, like what Charlie was saying, what
For
they
sure.
expect to happen. I'm sure it'll be different. And I don't,
Yeah.
from talking to them at that meeting, they weren't suggesting they were going to add any infrastructure after the dam was removed. It was just how much sediment they're pulling out of the river and how much of the dam and the concrete that's there they're gonna pull out.
Right.
So I don't think they're gonna put in any
Yeah.
sheet
And
piles or
they-
anything.
No,
they're finding out where the bedrock is that, you know,
Which is useful, yeah, and you
definitely
know,
resist erosion.
and they need to be
Yeah.
permitted through the DNR and everything too, so
That's-
anything they do needs to pass muster with the state to say, we're gonna pull this out of the river, it's not gonna ruin the river or whatever,
Right.
so. Once we can see their final design,
Yeah,
that'll be useful.
that sounds really helpful.
So their project timeline, if they're on it, and it looks like they are so far, is 60% plan completion by January 1, 90% plan completion by February 1, and 100% by May, with all the details, so.
Have they gone out to bid already? They haven't, have they?
No, that comes after all that, so, yeah,
So bidding in February,
yeah.
well, it's FEMA, so, it's gonna be,
Yes, exactly.
it's gonna have a value that it would be different than if the municipality was doing it itself, cause FEMA's.
Better.
Right,
So better bids.
there's, more people will bid on it because the price will be bigger.
Yeah. They have them scheduled to be working with FEMA come December.
If there's anything left of FEMA, I mean.
That's the question.
Yeah.
It really is.
Any other questions on the Cross Brothers Dam project? Basically, we're waiting for the plan. New business. And Mary, this is what you were talking about earlier, possible need to reroute section A based on what happens, above from Vermont State Housing. You wanna speak to that? So I'll take.
I'm trying to speak to that. I'm sorry, I have to plug things in here and so forth. My question is, if this is a lot of hassle, wouldn't it be, do we have other options besides going where on the east side of the river? What if we went on the west bank?
Well, first off, and I've shared this with Mary, NCDN has a plan, and before we depart from that plan, I think we should have their sign in. That's
Oh,
gonna
that's
be up to
true.
them, right, and then second thing is, we know in high water events, the west side of that, of the Dog River floods. And that's the floodplain. So you've got guardrails, you've got infrastructure that, will be permitted. I think the permit process is gonna be a little difficult to get building anything in a known floodplain.
Okay, that was
NCDN
the
did-
question I had.
We did touch on it, Mary, because you had made the suggestion before our last meeting, and that what Charlie said those were our concerns. Physically looking at the space, obviously it's hard to see the path anywhere right now because it's not there, but there just doesn't seem to be a really viable, sustainable place for that because, like you said, it's eroded on part of it. The other part that hasn't eroded is more or less a cliff wall. So it would need to be a path in the road, and the sidewalk is on the other side. It's not on that inside part of the road. So we talked about it, and our initial thoughts were it didn't seem feasible, as difficult as it is to deal with the property owner, Vermont State Housing Authority. It didn't seem better on the other side.
Another
Well,
factor.
I will
too,
add one other thing, is that it's not pleasant to walk next to the road.
True.
That too, yeah.
The other part too is you have to cross Union Brook,
Right,
and so you either have to, go over on Water Street
Right.
and get onto Union Brook.
there's no sidewalk on
And-
any side of that.
And then I'm just looking at that parcel, the parcel the town owns, the strip along there that is floodplain. It's as narrow as 8 feet in some places.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's-
I was thinking from the Wall Street, from Wall Street over to the pedestrian bridge.
Mhm.
That's on the west side there. but it would put you right next to the road, which is not pleasant. And I do agree that it's a lot, how much erosion is there? You know, that was why I suggested maybe we should just go walk there and see what it's like.
Mm-hmm. This
But
group
I
should
don't like
probably
walking.
walk
I
the
think
path.
it would be, given my druthers, I'd rather walk on the east side than on the west side because I'd be far away from the traffic, you know, what little traffic there is. Probably will get to be more.
Well, and if you
Anyway,
did, I'm just looking at this too, the parcel here, if you did, if you did come up that way on the west side, if you crossed on the walking bridge, you still gotta get Vermont State Housing Authority approvals. Cause they own this giant parcel, the first parcel along the water, the first turn before you get over to, property owned by Northfield. So we're kinda stuck with them as
oh,
part
we're
of this.
stuck with them, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Good
all.
clarification.
I don't sense a no from them. They have
No.
very valid
No.
questions
I think
that
they just
we
want the
need to
same
answer
protection as
anyway.
everybody else
Yeah.
wants, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing to be aware of, that
Yeah.
their, you know, stop hand has been reused with,
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely.
replaced with
Yeah.
conditional.
You're professional at that. Turning the stop hand into something else. I
Is it called begging?
don't know what it is. Magic.
It seems to me that, as we complete Phase D, then we can put our efforts into, Phase E, A, Alpha, and Bravo. And we can further address that, and who knows, we might have a high water event that with the dam
Right.
removal makes a big difference, or it is, a bad idea.
At the current rate
Yep.
of climate catastrophes, yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
If we get 12 inches of rain like Asheville did,
Oh my God.
right, I'm not gonna be attending any meetings, cause my bridge will be gone.
Yeah.
I'll be
Looking on the
taking,
bright side, huh?
right, there's always a plus. Any further discussion on, new business item A? And item B is upcoming reach out to abutting landowners to obtain rights of way, which we're going to have to do.
There's
which
only
will be
two,
part-
so, there's only, from what I read, it's the senior center, which won't be a problem, and it's the Fernandez.
And Vermont State Housing,
Well, yeah,
Right.
just because we talked about them, yeah.
right, so,
I mean, I'm sure, I can't imagine the senior center is gonna have an issue with that, you know,
they have indicated that they would not.
yeah.
And there is even talk about putting a, gazebo, correctly pronounced gazebo, at the end of their parking lot, to, enhance the walkway. But that's just, what do you guys think about that idea? They loved it screened in,
Cool.
people could use it,
Yeah, it's nice.
it would be
Yes.
cool, but,
Right. No
use-
bugs sit by the river without getting eaten.
Right,
Yes,
Very cool.
I'd sit there.
so item B is essentially wait until Phase D is complete.
Is it fair to say that leading up to that, we need to know who's gonna be doing that? Is that not what the town attorney would need to be involved in?
In terms of these other, abutters,
Yeah, do we
um,
need the town attorney involved in those
I,
rights of way discussions?
well, I think the same documentation as you talked about will work and say, here's the structure we're putting together. If your attorney, the Fernandez family or whoever wants something else, I mean, obviously Mike Popowski may want something else for the senior center, but I think we can get going on those conversations. And I will tell you why when we get to C. So,
Any more discussion on item B? Hearing none. Item C, future funding sources.
So the next one up that we could look at, and I think we should look at, is recreational trail program, which the application has opened. They close on December 6th. You can get up to $50,000 with a 20% match required. that is a good reason to be approaching the Fernandez and the senior center, because there's a specific part of the pre-application form that has you identify all the properties that the trail will be going over and what kind of permissions you need to get and where you are in the process. So if the second category is need to secure signed permission, at least you can do that, try to get that if we've approached, and then if we have them and we can show some of them, they don't expect you to get all of them completely done at the time of the pre-application, so. And we'll need a few more documents and mapping things, but it's not it's not a terribly difficult pre-application form at all, but we do want to explain exactly, why this would work. As I understand it, there's only one other entity that's applying for something with the RTPs in Northfield, am I right about that? Vorek is not, I've checked it out, so, oh, the school might be for their trail
For the
project.
trails.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, but, they're a separate entity, and I helped them last time, but they couldn't pull it together, I don't know if they will this time, so, but.
What's the timeline on that?
By December 6th, the pre-application is to be in. But-
So will the concept work for that?
Yeah, we have to show enough due diligence that, with the approaching owners and everything, and that we've started this map and we're, going for, I think the steps we're taking are enough of them for the concept, yeah. We don't have to, this is the pre-application, if you go through the next one, then they're gonna get more hardcore about, give us a real trail plan, show us what it looks like and things like that.
Do we wanna spend the money on a real trail plan if we find out that Act 250 is gonna be a hurdle?
It's a very good question.
How far would the timber and stone design plan go?
The biggest thing missing from that is the aerial,
Yeah,
So, and I don't know, do they do aerials? But you're gonna do one for us, so.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know what they want, I also don't know, like, do you have to show all your cards and say, we're gonna do these 4 sections, or can you just say, like, we wanna do a trail, but if we're already doing it in different sections, could you apply to the recreational trail program for just these 2 sections
Yeah.
or something, if
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't have things lined up for the other ones, like.
You absolutely can.
I don't, $50,000 like seems like a lot of money, but it's not.
Not for a lot.
I'm sure we could, like, depending on how it gets built and what's on it, I don't know how far that will go, so.
Well, I think, just listening to you all talk about this, I think the case has been made pretty compelling that, that even if nothing else happens, Section D, if it got access to the water, would be a huge benefit, so.
Oh, yeah.
Is this an annual application?
Yeah.
So the question is then, do we want to submit by December the plan or wait until next year and submit with what we've accomplished? I go back to phase D. This is what we've done before, this is what we wanna do.
I'm just checking on something, Charlie. For some reason, I feel like maybe they do it twice a year. What's this?
cause we don't necessarily, we could use it, but we don't necessarily need this grant for D. That's what this 50's for,
Right.
Correct.
yeah.
And we're gonna have some money left over
Oh,
because,
there's already money for D. Okay, what I was thinking was we would submit this for D and then next year you can do it for the next.
we
one.
set aside 50,000 and that included a lot of excavation, which is gonna be done by the dam removal
Right,
project.
so
Yeah,
If we, based on your conversation in September, it sounds like they're really jazzed about
right,
doing the right thing.
yeah, and that'll probably honestly never be written down anywhere. That's just a
Sure.
matter of like buying some donuts for the guys in the machines or whatever.
$50,000 should cover that.
Don't tell them we have that, we have to tell them we have no money.
Yeah. Just some donuts.
So pull out your own wallet and.
Yeah,
Right.
another donut
Well,
withdrawal.
So sad.
Charlie's got some
accurate.
ribs.
Yeah.
Every single time I call somebody up, what's the budget? No, oh, magically they come right in.
Well, that's the kind of thing that, at the end of the project, you have a barbecue. with Dollar General and the, you know, this group, and you just celebrate the fact that you got this done, and you have the construction crew and the engineers
Yeah, exactly.
and the whole thing,
And we
and
do
you
it-
spend $1,000,
Yeah.
and, you have a party, a christening, is that what it's called? No, a ribbon cutting,
Ribbon
There you
cutting.
go.
right.
Christening.
Have Mary
It's by
Kate
the
and
water,
Scott,
that makes
By the way,
sense.
yeah, I
Less
like
the trail.
christening
Yeah.
better. Yeah, just- it's only annual. So if you get through pre-application, full application submission is due January 31st. So there's our timeline to make sure we've got enough details for the more, you know, and also timeline to decide finally on that, to your point, but,
so when, so you've got Dave, you've got, who's the, which one of the sisters lives in New Hampshire?
oh my God, went to school with them.
I know,
Brain is gone. Linda,
Linda, thank you.
yeah.
Linda was talking about, was working on the former China Star, which is, you know, going through derivations. And so I went over to talk to her about it, and then happened to mention that, you know, the Northfield's doing this, and we're going to have we're going to try and get a trail all the way from, all the way to Wall Street. And she'd not heard of it. So she was jazzed. So, you know, we know Vermont housing might cost us money, but it won't be buying into the land. We don't know, if there's gonna be a fee associated with, developing the Fernandez lot.
Right.
Property owners may say, yeah, you're gonna have to throw us some cake, or they might say this is gonna benefit Northfield, but you don't know what they're gonna say. So right now, we have an unknown. And again, with a success and knowing that this is an annual thing, I think we should be prepared next year to take our success, of Zone D
Yeah,
to the abutting property owners going forth.
Yep.
If you guys see a better reason, another reason to go right now, and pursue it, speak up.
Mary?
I think that we need to, if we have to sweeten it, throw some cake, as you say, I think we need to remember that maybe they want to name this trail for Mary and Phil.
There's all kinds of maneuvers, and,
That's good.
yeah, that's, you know,
Yeah.
that's,
Excellent idea.
that's what you always do. You always put a name to it and, you know, ask for donations. And, yeah, that part is, Phase D is not gonna need that, I don't think. But, to go forth with lighting and, all the expenses associated with it, is going to, you know, it's like the bricks on the common.
Yep.
For $100, you get a brick,
Right.
you put it in there, and you've contributed to making Northfield better.
Yep,
And you get a bench or whatever.
and that will mean more to a local family than it did to T-Mobile.
Right.
Our
Right,
T-mobility path idea.
You
yeah,
never know.
yeah.
Yeah,
They love their
there's still time.
customers.
So when do you wanna have an initial conversation, just to, hey, what do you think about this idea with Dave?
I think, hey, what do you think about this idea is, you can have that anytime.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, David and I played hockey for 3 years together, you know, I've known him forever. So,
And-
Fernandez.
Linda,
Yeah,
in
you
addition
might have heard
to,
about it already
I would guess they
also,
have,
yeah.
although, you know, they keep to themselves, but it doesn't matter, you know, go
Yeah.
over there and
Yep.
talk to him and Raymond and just see what they have to say, you know.
and Popowski's part of the family, and he's part of the, senior
He is?
center.
Yes,
I did not know
His
that
mother
he
was Fernandez,
related.
right?
yes,
Hmm.
yes. Everybody's related here, you know that, okay?
In Northfield, the family tree goes straight up. All right, that sounds, I think
Well, who's gonna handle with a little bit more conversation with the senior center? I mean, you're the guy, you're the Meals on Wheels guy.
Right, I'll let them, they already know.
Okay.
Yeah, I've already had that discussion with them also, saying we're trying, that's where the idea of the gazebo came out.
Okay.
Said, you know, that could be one of the funding things that fundraiser things that we do.
Yeah.
Cool.
Contributed to by the Northfield Farmers Market.
Buy the ballasters. Ballasters with names on them.
Any more discussion about future fund sources?
I haven't found anything yet, but stuff pops up from time to time. I think if we do, to your point, get, you know, sections successfully, that we can, even to be able to say that, you know, we are building. There's some private funders out there, foundations, that like to tack on to something that's underway, but it's not the right time yet, so.
And the new apartment building may wanna,
I was just gonna say, I know they're busy and they have a lot of funds tied up, I assume,
Yeah,
but would
sorry.
they not want to know that this is going on?
will afford them the opportunity.
They do, don't they?
Yeah, you know, those guys, they probably don't
Probably
remember,
before.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
they
you
don't,
know,
yeah.
but,
Got a lot on their
but
brain.
I talk to them constantly, you know, we're getting ready for the DRB and we're, you know, finishing up some details on the drawings, so I'll ask them about it, yeah.
And you've already gotten, well, this is departing from the agenda, but you've done a lot already with the brownfields, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple $100,000 in there, and we got all the cap money we need, and
Amazing.
we're doing the mitigation, so, yeah, so.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And we got them 122,000 for 70 Depot Square in tax credits, so.
I talked to Mike the other day and he was just ecstatic.
That's great,
Yeah.
I'm glad. Yeah, so,
Mike's one of the principals.
Mike is one of the principals,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Anybody wanna, have any public participation online? Is there anything else that we
No, thank
missed,
you.
skipped? You got a note in front of you that you wanna bring up? Hearing
No, thank
none, the item 7 is, date of next meeting is November 20th. That, I don't know, I would propose that we've got a plan. I would propose that that is tentative until we, hear back from the jurisdictional board, hopefully it'll be 10 seconds. But, if that report comes back, then we will certainly notify you by email, and, then you and Pat will be working, if you want to get together, do you think you'll have, something to give Dollar General before the 20th of November?
Yeah, sooner is better for me.
Great.
'Cause I'm 2 weeks out from a baby.
Oh, wow.
Oh, say no more.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's when you never ask,
And
right?
if this baby is as successful as your
last one?
existing child, she won the farmer's market gift bag.
Oh,
Yeah, we're pretty
wow.
sure that was rigged
I was
though.
just gonna say,
It was rigged, how was it rigged?
Well, Cassie was involved, I think she likes Ruby, so I'm pretty sure
Who doesn't like Ruby?
Congratulations.
Yeah. Yep, so,
awesome.
but yeah, I should have time to do a drawing, it's not that involved. But if you hear anything from Dollar General, let me know.
I will.
I'll do it in the meantime and just make a
Change.
guess, and then when they say left or right, it's very easy to just shift the
Great.
whole thing.
Perfect.
Like
I don't know
5
how helpful it is, but do you have a copy of the timber and stone initial design?
minutes. Yep, yeah,
Okay,
yep,
great.
yeah.
Good, yeah.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, folks. Are there any objections or abstentions? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned.
Thumbs up from Mary Shernock, thumbs up from, from Mary Nathan Scott, we got all thumbs, so it's good.
Thank
I
you.
will be doing these minutes, so I'll make sure, at the same time they're posted, I'll email them to everybody.
I always forget, we didn't have the ability to look at minutes in the past, and now because of you, we have them.
She's gonna be here tomorrow.
I'm glad it works well. All right, you all, we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
If you do decide you wanna deal with the architecture department, I'll be happy to